Hello crafty friends, Shana from Shanuki Art. This is Art Journal August, episode 2. Working on our first page, we're going to choose a color that we don't often work with or a color that we don't like working with. I'm going to choose yellow. It doesn't feature often in my art journaling. And then we're going to go through our stash and find anything that features that color. I have got some stamps. I'm going through a magazine and cutting bits from a magazine. If you have scrapbook paper, die cuts, embellishments, anything. This is a great way to use up bits from your non-favorite color. We have enough yellow to start. What we're going to do is we're going to stick these down sort of like a patchwork of sorts. We're going to put them facing straight all the way across, covering the entire page. Of course, you can put them at an angle if you prefer. I want to fit them together in a patchwork style. I don't know about you, but I find cutting and pasting really relaxing and therapeutic. I've started with a bit of an easier page only because we are just warming up. We're getting into the Art Journal August, and this doesn't really need a lot of thought. We really are just placing pieces down. You can make them more coordinated if you want. I'm just really seeing what fits where. Try not to overthink it. It's okay if some pieces overlap or some are covered by another piece. We're not looking for perfection. I'm going to just start sticking these down. I'm using my adhesive of choice, which is Mod Podge. You can use a glue stick or gel medium, craft glue, whatever you have in your supplies. You could do the same method using, for example, just stamps or just stickers of different colors. If you have a whole lot of used stamps that you don't know what to do with, you could create an entire page with just that. It doesn't have to obviously be just the one color. I just chose that so it's a bit more striking as we open our art journal. Please let me know in the comments what color you chose for this page. And if you're on social media, you can share your creations of Art Journal August in my group Junk Journal and Mixed Media Tutorials. I'll put a link to the group in the description box below. I would love to see what you make. I'm just going to continue now pasting down my yellow bits and enjoy the process of pasting. You'll notice that I use the Mod Podge for the stamps, but I'm using a glue stick for the magazine paper. The magazine paper is much thinner. It only really needs glue stick to stick. If I had to use Mod Podge on it, it might buckle and warp a little bit. It's all really just personal preference. I also have this from a sticker book. These are all stickers, and I think this sentiment in the middle in the yellow fits perfectly. So I'm going to put this in the center of mine as a focal point. So I've actually left the center of my page without any stickies on it because it's going to get covered anyway. You could do this with a piece of coordinating cardstock and you could stick a sentiment on or handwrite it. You could also, of course, put any kind of focal point in the middle. I wanted to keep mine simple, so it's just a yellow block with some wording. I'm just making sure that all the area around my focal point is going to be covered and you can't see the background paper. Of course, if you can see the background paper, that is also fine. Rules are few in mixed media and art journaling. To allow my focal point to stand out a bit, I'm taking a black fine liner and making a thin line all the way around like a frame. It is going to be hand drawn, so it's going to be quite rough. You could use a ruler if you prefer a neater look, and I'm going to apply the same method all the way around my page. I think it just finishes it off really nicely. Before I stick that down, I'm going to do some splatter. I find when I do splatter, it sort of makes everything cohesive. It makes the whole page sort of fit together. And I really love it as a finishing touch on most of my work. I'm just going to cover up everything else that doesn't need the splatter. I've mixed a couple of yellows, a light yellow and a dark yellow just to get a medium yellow. And I've added some water. This is just acrylic paint. And I'm watering it down, and then I'm using a fan paintbrush. And I'm just going to splatter that over the entire page. You're not going to see it very brightly because it's sort of yellow on yellow, but it does add additional texture and it does enhance the page. I always test my splatter on a scrap paper before I do it on my actual project, just to check the droplet size and the paint thickness. You can always add more paint or water as needed to get the right drop consistency. So if your page color was green, you'd add the green splatter. If it was pink, you'd add the pink. And then we're going to dry everything really well. When I had finished the splatter, I realized it needed something a little bit more, a bit of contrast. When I tried to put my focal point down, it just felt it was getting a little lost. So I'm going to add contrast by adding also black splatter. Using watered down black acrylic paint and my fan paintbrush, I'm going to use the same method and apply a little bit of black splatter over the entire page. I'm now going to stick down my focal point. I'm going to use double-sided tape. I'm just going to go over my lines again that frame my sentiment and my page just to make them a little bit more bold. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Art Journal August and found a creative way to use a non-favorite color. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Let me show you a close-up of the page so you can see the details of the splatter. Subtle, but it creates a beautiful effect. Thanks again for watching, happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!